The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We know what Chris Sale can bring. I was personally high on Schwallenbach. Smith Shawver, their other starter, looks okay to kind of bad. They need to I don't want to say tread water, so I think that puts into a bad light, but that's what they ultimately need to do. They need to tread water until Strider gets back, until Acuna gets back, and maybe it's just part of the team morale mentality that we're not at full strength, need to kick things into gear once those guys get here.
Pro baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
I'm still optimistic eventually this will happen and they'll get it together. I mean, if Florida can get their act together, Sam, with the tribes, I believe that California can too.
It would bring a lot of money to the tribes, which is also something they really care about. It's an $8 billion market. Conservatively, it could be even more when it legalizes. The sports books would be sharing revenue with the tribes, essentially doing all their operations and forking over a percentage directly to the tribes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
After every round, you guys were still up in each other's face, mouthing off before you went back to your corners, trying to get not just the last punch, but the last word. What was the move between you guys? Obviously, you're in there for your fright.
It didn't cut him. It didn't stunt him. A point wasn't taken away. There's no reason to even mention something like that. You're in a brawl. Things are happening. Accidents happen.
Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
He'll never stop shooting a basketball the rest of his life. All he's going to do is become one of those old, famous ex-players that's in the Hall of Fame, that's a legend, that shows up at games, just like his dad did. His dad shows up at games. His dad was never as good as he is. And his brother is the lost soul. Like, they don't even care about his broke ass. This guy, Steph Curry, can play forever.
Pharrell, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
After every round, you guys were still up in each other's face, mouthing off before you went back to your corners, trying to get not just the last punch, but the last word. What was the move between you guys? Obviously, you're in there for your fright.
It didn't cut him. It didn't stunt him. A point wasn't taken away. There's no reason to even mention something like that. You're in a brawl. Things are happening. Accidents happen.
Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
He'll never stop shooting a basketball the rest of his life. All he's going to do is become one of those old, famous ex-players that's in the Hall of Fame, that's a legend, that shows up at games, just like his dad did. His dad shows up at games. His dad was never as good as he is. And his brother is the lost soul. Like, they don't even care about his broke ass. This guy, Steph Curry, can play forever.
Pharrell, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
After every round, you guys were still up in each other's face, mouthing off before you went back to your corners, trying to get not just the last punch, but the last word. What was the move between you guys? Obviously, you're in there for your fright.
It didn't cut him. It didn't stunt him. A point wasn't taken away. There's no reason to even mention something like that. You're in a brawl. Things are happening. Accidents happen.
Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
He'll never stop shooting a basketball the rest of his life. All he's going to do is become one of those old, famous ex-players that's in the Hall of Fame, that's a legend, that shows up at games, just like his dad did. His dad shows up at games. His dad was never as good as he is. And his brother is the lost soul. Like, they don't even care about his broke ass. This guy, Steph Curry, can play forever.
Pharrell, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
After every round, you guys were still up in each other's face, mouthing off before you went back to your corners, trying to get not just the last punch, but the last word. What was the move between you guys? Obviously, you're in there for your fright.
It didn't cut him. It didn't stunt him. A point wasn't taken away. There's no reason to even mention something like that. You're in a brawl. Things are happening. Accidents happen.
Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
He'll never stop shooting a basketball the rest of his life. All he's going to do is become one of those old, famous ex-players that's in the Hall of Fame, that's a legend, that shows up at games, just like his dad did. His dad shows up at games. His dad was never as good as he is. And his brother is the lost soul. Like, they don't even care about his broke ass. This guy, Steph Curry, can play forever.
Pharrell, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
You because Mark Cuban did something wrong and he was forced to trade his best player, or else the team would be ousted from the NBA. You traded him because you didn't think he was a worthwhile player, but then you're trying to show love and respect, and all around the arena, the pictures when he was coming in. That's what I don't understand here. You can't have it both ways. You got rid of him, not because it was good for your franchise, but you thought he would be a terrible investment because he doesn't train hard enough. Understand that, Mavericks. Own it. If you were going to do that, just play the villain again. But the fact is, hey, conquering here, coming home, we love it. No, you didn't love him. Your general manager didn't love him. Your ownership group okayed his trade to Los Angeles, and everybody still can't believe it. So at least play into that. There's no love from the Dallas Mavericks to Luka Doncic. There should have been any last night.
Yeah, it is a weird feeling, right? A weird scenario, a weird situation. But I think what you are highlighting, DRS, is the overwhelming sentiment among the city of Dallas in the Mavericks fan base. They are absolutely devastated by this move. They were more stunned than anybody else around the association. Among the fans, Luka Doncic loved, which makes this trade all that much more stunning. As reports have said, it was one man acting single-handedly. General Manager Nico Harrison that pulled this off in the shadows. Had to be okayed by ownership, we would anticipate, but it was Nico Harrison that has those ill will feelings to Luka Doncic. Basically, everybody else within the Mavericks organization and fan base and the entirety of the NBA thinks this guy is a bona fide superstar, of course, of which he is. But I do hear your point, DRS, because if Nico Harrison is the guy that can pull off this blockbuster deal that shocks the entirety of a fan base city and the entirety of a league, then he is probably the guy that has to okay the shirts being on the seats for all the fans to don to welcome back Luka Doncic.
Yes, and you hit the nail on the head. Like, the fans have every right to go to that arena, wear his jersey, cheer him wildly. But I just don't understand the feeling like, hey, we're going to have a great night tonight, Mavericks fans. Come back into the arena, watch Luka destroy us when you know he should be our player for the next 10 years. And then answers. At least Nico can get up in front of the microphone and say, this is on me. Nico, why did you trade him? The guy drinks, and I don't know, like, I'm just putting this out. The guy drinks all night. He doesn't show up to practice. He's lazy. We're not spending $300 to $500 million over the next 10 years on this guy. That's why I traded him. Just own it and be honest with yourself, because everybody, you're right, around the NBA goes, I don't understand how this happened. And the way it was pulled off right in the middle of the night where the Lakers were like, don't you dare let this get out until this trade is done. We are going to steal a superstar in Los Angeles. And we'll know. And you know what? The NBA didn't even go and say, you know what?
I think, Dallas, you want to think about this for 24 hours before you pull this off. They love the fact that he went to Los Angeles. The only big losers in this weren't Luka Doncic because he gets to play in Los Angeles with the Lakers. It was the Mavericks fans going like, we have a superstar. We love this guy. We're going to watch him 10 more years. And yes, he may be able to bring us a championship, but you trade him in the dark of the night, and now you expect all the love and kindness like, welcome back, welcome back. That's for the fans, not for the ownership group. I can't understand what happened last night, except Luka came back bald and showed you, like, I'm the best player that ever played for the Dallas Mavericks, and you got rid of me. Take this.
And I think that's a huge story. 45 points, 8 boards, 6 dimes, 4 steals, 7 of 10 from beyond the arc. Because Luka Doncic thought he would play in Dallas forever. Luka Doncic thought he would only be in one spot in the entirety of his NBA career. Luka Doncic, emotional, tears in his eyes, watching that tribute video, and then goes out and says, this is what you could have had, and still maintains that killer instinct. Here was Luka Doncic on his return to Dallas last night.
What were you feeling as you walk through this arena for the first time in a while, as you see these faces? Like, what were you feeling in those moments specifically?
Well, it was a little bit of both, happy and angry, but it's nice to see some familiar faces here. I spent a lot of times with them. But like you say, it was a lot of emotions. When I woke up, I was tired. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't sleep much. I was excited about this game, and I really appreciate the fans, the way they reacted to me.
So that anger came out, DRS, with the 45-point performance. Of course, a little bit of sadness because he missed those friendly fans in Dallas. But 45 points to lead the Lakers to a huge, huge victory. LA covers as a 4.5-point road favorite. They stay in the race for that 3 seed in the Western Conference.
Yes, they do. LeBron played well. Luka played well. The Lakers played well. And again, the Dallas Mavericks lost, and they got to watch Luka Doncic, the conquering hero, come home and lay it on him, man. What a tough night all around if you're a Mavericks fan. Oh, my goodness, that hurts.
The Lakers 2-0 against Dallas with Luka on the roster. More on the early line next.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
So 80 games played this year for the Los Angeles Lakers. Last night's emotional but clutch win in Dallas. The Lakers winning by 15, covering as a 4.5-point road favorite. LA right now, 49-31, plus 650 to win the Western Conference. Second best number in that 3 seed. The Houston Rockets, who we'll talk about in just a moment, still maintain a 2.5 game advantage, but not officially clinching that number 2 seed in the Western Conference just yet. The Lakers, the 3 seed currently out west, as they have a full game advantage over the Denver Nuggets. So how would the Nuggets perform last night? First game since Tuesday afternoon's shocking news in stunning dismissal of Michael Malone, head coach at altitude for the Nuggets for a decade, who led Denver to an NBA championship just 2 seasons ago. But the Nuggets on a 4-game slide, trending in a poor direction entering the postseason. How would Denver respond in a road game in Sacramento against the Kings? Pretty well. The Nuggets win by 8 on the road, 124-116. Denver covers as a 4.5-point road favorite. DRS, the Nugs had all 5 starters score at least 18 points last night, including a 20-point triple-double out of Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, that's what you like to see, right? As you're waiting for the playoffs, you have a new coach in town. Maybe some of the vibes are a little bit different, but you also wanted to see how Denver would react, particularly, Ben, in the first quarter. And the reaction was positive, 33-25. At the half, you had a lead. Third quarter, you extended that lead. Fourth quarter, you hung around because you already had a double-digit lead, and you closed it out 124-116. And also, Luka Doncic, 38 minutes in that game, as you pointed out, only 12 total shot attempts. But you look at the rest of the starting lineup. This is what you like here from a championship contender. Gordon, 16 shot attempts. Porter Jr., 14, Jokic 12, Pickett 10, Brown 12. So everybody was getting involved here, which was good to see, except Russell Westbrook, who went 2 of 11 off the bench for 17 minutes. But I liked what I saw last night for the Nuggets. And you're right, that bump that you get, the 2.5s, the 3.5s, up to the 4.5s, the Denver Nuggets were the right play last night, and they held that lead all the way through.
Yes, they certainly did. And Denver, a huge win to snap that 4-game slide. But it's not just the 4-game skid that led to the dismissal of Michael Malone. Since the All-Star break, now even with the win last night, DRS, the Nuggets still sub 500, 12-13 straight up. Last night, just their 7th cover in those 25 games since the All-Star break. Just their 3rd time covering a spread, booked as a favorite here in this home stretch second half of the NBA campaign. And the Kings were trending in a positive direction entering last night's game against the Nugs. They had won 3 straight. That little win streak comes to a close. One of the longest win streaks currently around the association belongs to the Clippers. They are looking like a postseason contender here in the final week of this NBA regular season. Make it 6 straight wins for LA last night, blowing out the Rockets, who were not at full strength, but still by 17, 134-117 at home inside the Intuit Dome. The Clippers were booked as a double-digit favorite, laying 10.5. They cover that number. 6 straight wins for LA, 13 victories in their last 15 games.
Yeah, pretty impressive, too. And you also take a look at no Norm Powell in that lineup last night, still playing good minutes. Kawhi Leonard, Derek Jones Jr., Ivica Zubac, who, by the way, did have that triple-double, which is interesting. He actually had 2 guys in the starting lineup with 10 assists. And James Harden, turning back the clock, 37 minutes, 10 of 18 from the floor, 5-11 from three-point range, a perfect 10 of 10 from the free throw line, 10 assists. And how about this? Only 2 turnovers in that game and 35 total points. Yeah. Remember when the Philadelphia 76ers were like, hey, James, we'll give you that max deal. At the end of the year, like, we don't think you're worth it anymore. We think Paul George is. Tough scene for the Sixers, as James Harden still playing great basketball here late in his career.
And the Clippers, DRS, who started off the All-Star break, after the All-Star break, dropping 6 of their first 7. They've been 16-3 straight up since. 13 of those recent 15 games, a win, as I said, covering in 11 of those 13. They are looking like a very formidable side entering the final week of this NBA regular season, final few days. Here's where the conference standings are right now. We'll continue to break it down on the other side as well. The Thunder, of course, the 1 seed. The Rockets only a 2.5 game lead over the LA Lakers. But where things stand at the moment, Houston, DRS, just needs 1 more win down the stretch to make this a 3-game lead. Wait, that's it, right? Houston has clinched the 2 seed. I was doing some bad math. Excuse me.
Nice.
Houston has clinched the 3 seed. First day back on the early line in a few. The Rockets will play the Lakers in LA tomorrow. But, of course, the Lakers just trying to maintain that position as the 3 seed.
Yep, and that's what you got to watch. Same thing in the NFL, Ben. We get to weeks, late in the season where it's, hey, 2 games left. One team needs it, one team doesn't. You watch those spreads act accordingly. Like, how many points are they favored by? Yeah, there's a reason for that late in the season.
Yep, we'll look at those standings, what else is out there in the Western Conference, and plenty more around the NBA in this opening hour. Up next.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We know what Chris Sale can bring. I was personally high on Schwallenbach. Smith Shawver, their other starter, looks okay to kind of bad. They need to I don't want to say tread waters. I think that puts into a bad light, but that's what they ultimately need to do. They need to tread water until Strider gets back, until Acuna gets back, and maybe it's just part of the team morale mentality that we're not at full strength. We need to kick things into gear once those guys get here.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Live right here on this Thursday morning on the early line on SportsGrid. Here's where the Western Conference standings are with just a few more games around the association. Regular season finale Sunday, just a few more days away as well. Oklahoma City clinched the 1 seed a long time ago. The Houston Rockets, despite Donnie not doing great math, have already clinched the 2 seed. They have a 3-game advantage over the Lakers. The Lakers a game up on both the Nuggets and their crosstown rivals in the Clippers. But Donnie, when we were together in studio on Tuesday, we talked about that 4-team logjam, all at 46 and 32. The Clippers, Grizzlies, Warriors, and T-Wolves. The Clips have provided a little bit of distance. They're a half game in front of the Grizzlies, who are a half game in front of the Warriors, who are a half game in front of the Timberwolves. Golden State losing last night in a disastrous way. Harrison Barnes, former Warrior, hits a 3 at the buzzer for San Antonio as the Spurs win outright, handing Golden State yet another loss, 114-111. Western Conference playoff picture, how does it look to you?
It's pretty crazy. That's how it looks to me. Again, we understand the Thunder and the Rockets, they're sitting up top, but it's amazing with 2 games to go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and basically 8 seeming like up for grabs where anybody can move at any certain time. And one shot that goes down that shouldn't go down knocks you from the top 6 into the play-in round, which is a cold, stark reality for what we might see over this weekend, as you said, with the games ending up on Sunday. That's interesting to watch because the East isn't interesting. The 1-2 seed already clinched up, but it's fun to see where, hey, I'm a 4th seed. Oh, no, all of a sudden I'm the 8th seed at this point? That's pretty crazy for 2 games left.
Yeah, in DRS, we are still, when you look at the Nuggets, Clippers, Grizz, Warriors, and Timberwolves, 5 teams separated by just a game and a half, despite there only being 2 games left or 3 for every team around the NBA. You also saw Sacramento and Dallas, both teams losing last night at home. The Mavs to the Lakers in Luka's return. The Kings in Sacktown against the Denver Nuggets, who are playing their first game without Michael Malone. Those 2 teams have clinched a play-in tourney spot. Sacramento a game in front of Dallas. The 9-10 matchup would be in California's capital if the season ended today. They just have to figure out the actual positioning of who is going to host that 9-10 game. Sacramento nor Dallas has any chance of catching Minnesota nor Golden State at this moment, which means that everybody else, the 5 other teams in the NBA's Western Conference, they have been eliminated. That includes the Phoenix Suns. A disastrous season in the Valley has basically officially come to a close. Oklahoma City on the road last night, already clinching that 1 seed, but still mowing people down. They win by 13, 125-112. The Thunder cover as a 7-point road favorite. The Suns have now lost 8 straight. That officially eliminates the Suns from playoff contention. As it says there, the sun has now set in the Valley.
Yeah, one team has it clinched. One team still technically fighting for maybe a playoff spot at this point. You take a look at the starting lineup. No Lou Dort, no Cason Wallace, and also no SGA in the lineup, and an easy victory on the road for OKC, which then you still look at the starters and say, well, Devin Booker was out there 40 minutes, 20 points, not good enough. He even had a cameo, as I like to say, for Bradley Beal, 25 points in this game. It's very rare that we see him into the 20s, and still they got hammered. This will be an interesting offseason for the Phoenix Suns. I was talking to Joe yesterday on the show, basically saying, like, if you're the general manager or the ownership group, like, you have to blow this up, because my thought process in sports, Ben, is either you're building for a championship or you're going the exact opposite direction to get as bad as you possibly can. So for me saying, like, okay, we'll try to get rid of Bradley Beal and give up draft capital. We'll trade Kevin Durant, but we'll keep Devin Booker. No, it's not. How many championships does Devin Booker have in for the Phoenix Suns? None. Trade him. Move on. Get it started again. Get a ton of draft capital and rebuild.
9-1 price for Phoenix to win the West before the season got underway. Top 5 number in that conference. They're not going to make the postseason. Minus 355 to make the playoffs. They're not even a play-in tourney team. Preseason win total of 48 and a hook. They are going to miss that by double digits. Devin Booker last night did have 20 points for Phoenix, but it is over. Donnie, asking you about the future of what this Suns organization is going to look like. Here's what D-Book had to say.
Book, this is the first time since 2020 that you haven't been in the playoffs. What do you feel needs to change from this season going to next in order to get back to that stage again?
More than one thing. But, it's the time, the summertime is to digest and, look back, see what went wrong, compare it to, when things were going right, and vocalize that.
Devin Booker, your newest Detroit Piston. That's what's going to change this summer for Devin Booker, DRS.
Yeah, he's probably going to be a Los Angeles Laker. Somehow they'll change the salary cap structure to allow him to go there. It's usually what happens. But the Phoenix Suns, where it says, we're going to digest this. We've been digesting this bad food all season long from the Phoenix Suns. And also understand this. Like, let's get back right. The Suns don't seem like they were ever right. And I'm not just talking about this iteration of the, big three out in Phoenix. Start it over. Like Devin Booker. Be a man like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's like, I'm not coming back here. Put your name out there as well. Get out of Dodge. Let this team rebuild and see what they can do in 4 to 5 years.
And, Donnie, that's the important part, right? This is not a young, up-and-coming team with a ton of talent drafted in the last 3, 4, 5 years that can continue to build for this Phoenix organization. These are older superstars. Devin Booker, not necessarily old, but older superstars with a ton of experience in the NBA with massive contracts who are going to be dealt or discarded in some form or fashion. Matt Ishbia has a lot to figure out this summer in Phoenix. How about the other conference? Let's go out to the Eastern Conference right now. In DRS, our play-in tourney preview in the Eastern Conference with huge ramifications last night in Chicago between the Bulls and the Heat. Chicago at home and yet a 2.5-point home dog. Basically, the winner of last night would be in pole position to host the 9-10 play-in tourney game next week in the Eastern Conference. In Chicago, in a great spot to have this game back in the Windy City on Wednesday. A great performance out of everybody in the starting lineup, but a 28-point, 16 rebound, 11 assists, triple-double out of Josh Giddey. The Bulls win by 8, 119-111, outright as a 2.5-point home dog inside the United Center.
Yeah, home team, home cooking, took advantage of it. That's the Chicago Bulls. The one interesting thing for me is like the Heat are 36-44. They're bad. Their starting lineup is bad. Their team is devoid of talent, but still, they're willing their way to get into the play-in round. Congratulations. The one thing I don't understand is, again, not being embedded with the Heat. Like Jaime Jaquez, I thought he was one of those up-and-coming young players they drafted. That was a steal. And on a night-to-night basis now, I just see like DNP coach's decision every single night. I don't know what's going on in that camp there, but you do see a decent amount of talent here for the Chicago Bulls, which includes when you have your point guard dropping a 28, 10, 16, and 11 triple-double, which included 2 steals and 3 blocks, which is fantastic from Giddey yesterday. Just 2 teams nobody's excited for. They'll be knocked out quickly in the playoffs. That's the Eastern Conference.
So, yeah, probably, right? But the Bulls are playing some pretty decent basketball. On March 4th, Chicago was 14 games, sub-500, 24-38. They have now won 13 of their last 18. They have covered in their last 5 as a single-digit dog. And as we show you the Eastern Conference standings, there is a chance that Chicago could catch the Atlanta Hawks for the 8th seed, which would mean they play in the 7-8 Eastern Conference play-in tourney game, which of course is an advantage. They would have to go on the road to Orlando, but you only need 1 win. And if you lose in the 7-8 game, then you take on the winner of the 9-10 game, hoping for just 1 win to get into the Eastern Conference postseason. And Donnie, this Bulls team on display last night, all 5 in the starting lineup scoring at least 17 points. They're young, they're fun, they're kind of playing with this carefree attitude. Modest Buzella, 17 points. Kobe White, 18, and as we shared, that sensational triple-double out of Josh Giddey.
Yeah, here's how excited I am for the NBA Eastern Conference. Make me commissioner, which you know I'll do a good job here. 7, 8, 9, and 10, they're wiped out. Like the minute the season ends Sunday, they don't even get to the play-in rounds. It's gone. We just go to the top 6. Let's get on with our business. No need to waste the people's time with those 4 horrendous teams that don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Listen, I don't disagree. And frankly, Donnie, let's take it one step further. Let's just get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes.
Best of 7 series between the Cavaliers and
WCC,
the Celtics.
Ben. Automatic.
Completely agree.
Automatic.
How about
take
a break?
What an impressive debut it was for Mackenzie Gore of the Washington Nationals. He ended up having the most strikeouts of anybody thus far in a Major League Baseball game this season. Buy or sell, George? Mackenzie Gore will be a top 15 fantasy baseball pitcher this season. Top 15. Buy or sell?
You know, these questions are made up by Sam Yarnell, our producer, man behind the glass here. Who's a Washington Nationals fan here? You ever get the feeling that he just made this where you have to say bye, all right? Because top 15? Yeah, I think he'll be top 15. Come on, Sam, make him top 10. Make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe even top 5. Yeah, I think he's got the upside to be that. Once again, he is a good pitcher anyway. Once a top prospect here, you're pitching in a good pitcher's ballpark here. I think the upside is there for him to be much better than top 15. Top 5 may be pushing it, but I think he'll be inside the top 10. So, yes, I am all on board the Mackenzie Gore train.
All right, yeah, I think that I am going to buy this too, man. I don't know. He's just, and again, it's not just that one start for me. I think I have the video somewhere. I was like literally sitting behind home plate for one of his starts in Palm Beach, and I was like, wow, like this guy's stuff looks really, really good. Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. I think he's a potential Cy Young Award candidate. As George said, you're dealing with bigger markets and bigger names with LA and some of the other teams. Arizona's got some great pitchers too. But I think he's definitely in the mix. And look, do I think he's a top 2 guy? No. Do I think he's a top 15 guy? Yes. I'll buy that. As his season, I think, is going to be a special one for him.
Fantasy sports today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
So in this opening hour and going around the association from our 10-game slate on a Wednesday in the final few days of this regular season, we have talked about teams either out west or in the Eastern Conference trying to win games to better their playoff positioning and their postseason outlook. Not the story for our next game. In fact, an atrocious game on paper between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Washington Wizards. The Wizards entered last night with the second worst record around the NBA, 17-62 straight up. Philadelphia entered with the fifth worst record in the association, 23-56, but Philly riding a 12-game losing skid. The only issue, DRS, your 76ers were booked as a 3-point road favorite in D.C. last night, and they won 122-103 over Washington. You sound like you're okay with this. Are you?
Yeah, because they can't. I don't think the Nets can actually catch them as being a worse team at this point. I had the Sixers winning yesterday as a favorite and loved the game because understand what the Sixers are doing. They are professionals at tanking. Once they get below that limit and understand, like, now we can actually coach and play to win in the fourth quarter against bad teams, they're going to win basketball games, as they did last night with a 33-24 final. Understand this when the marching orders are correct. And I'm talking to you out there, New England Patriots and New York Giants. When the organization says, you know what, this is a lost cause, we go all in on this. In the fourth quarter, you're not drawing up the best plays. You're not taking the best players out here. You are actively tanking, but still playing the basketball game. Once those restrictions are off, it's okay to win. And the Sixers did that. Like, understand this. The Sixers starting lineup was Marcus Bagley. Yeah, Bagley was in the starting lineup with Bona, Butler, Grimes, and Lonnie Walker IV. It's unrecognizable. But still, if you coach them to win against a bad team, they're going to have an opportunity to do that. Why? Look at the Wizards starting lineup. Sarr, George, Champagnie, Carrington, and Johnson. Like, this is maybe the worst starting 10 between two basketball teams you might ever see in an NBA game because, quite honestly, how many of those guys are actually NBA players that were in the starting lineup? But the spot was great for the Sixers because all the restrictions were off. Hey, guys, go have fun and play to win tonight. And they won.
I'll tell you this, though. Quentin Grimes and Lonnie Walker IV are absolutely balling out in that reworked starting five for Philadelphia. DRS, to your point, the Nets right now have a 2.5-game advantage over the 76ers for that fifth worst record around the NBA. Now, Brooklyn has 3 games remaining. Philadelphia only 2. The 76ers will be at home for their final 2. Tomorrow night, they host the Hawks. In the regular season finale on Sunday, they host the Bulls. Theoretically, you would probably think the 76ers might be a pick'em price or a short underdog. Probably more than that, as both Atlanta and Chicago will be battling for that 8th seed in the Eastern Conference with some postseason motivation. So Philadelphia should lose its next 2, which makes last night's result not really matter. Still, worst record in the NBA. That is, oh, no, we're tied for the worst record. The Utah Jazz won last night. Oh, they beat the Trailblazers in overtime by 7. Both teams 17-63. So, of course, the next thing up for these teams that will determine their future will be the NBA draft lottery, which I think is probably just about a month away, couple of weeks away to figure out what is going to happen. Utah snapped a 9-game skid last night to get to 17-63, same exact record as the Wizards right now. And, of course, as we shared, the Philadelphia 76ers, 24-56. The odds to be Cooper Flagg's team, the Jazz, the Wizards, the Hornets, all at 5-1. The fact that Philadelphia is there is notable. A 7-1 number in the Pelicans at plus 600. Why is that the case? Of course, to try to de-incentivize tanking around the NBA. The teams that finish with the 3 worst records all have an equal shot, 14% to get that number 1 overall pick in the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes.
I like that. I actually do like that, where, like, we don't like tanking. In Philadelphia, it's a national pastime. It's fantastic. We get more excitement out of this season than we do of making a playoff run because we want to see where the ping pong balls land and who you can get. But it is a good idea for the NBA, which is not a race to the bottom that guarantees you the best. You should not be rewarding for throwing away an entire NBA season and wasting everybody's time like most of these teams do. So I do appreciate that. It just thinks that, like, if you are truly the worst team like the Jazz and it's like, oh, no, we don't get the top pick, we get the 5th pick. It's kind of hilarious the way that plays out. But that says show you right for tanking. That's what you get at that point. Look at the Sixers. I'm telling you, Like Daryl Morey, Sam Hinkie, they should have statues outside because he did a terrible job building this team over the last all season, which is why they tanked out this year. But the fact that when you understand the road to trying to be good, which means winning games doesn't mean anything. I love my organization is all on board with throwing the season away, which now you see a 7-1 price only behind a couple 5-1s to get Cooper Flag in a season where their expectations were Eastern Conference Finals or bust. Sixers gold medal type season here, specifically in the second half. Love it.
So that's the interesting thing, DRS, is you are doing a lot of bootlicking for the entire city of Philadelphia right now.
I love it.
Philly entered this year with the second best price to win the Eastern Conference. You have said it. There is no doubt. They are masters at tanking. Trust the process. But it hasn't even led to an Eastern Conference Finals berth. In fact, Philadelphia hasn't played in the Eastern Conference Finals since 2001. So what good is being awfully bad when it hasn't even led to you being decently good?
Well, here's the issue with it. Like, you're trying to play the numbers game. Now, the one thing I'll never forgive the NBA, too, is Sam Hinkie would have kept on for 3 more years of tanking and probably built the greatest starting 5 in the history of basketball. They forced him out and put a plant in Brian Colangelo in that absolutely blew up the process. And the NBA smile goes, that'll teach anybody from trying to do this again. Did you see what Sam Presti did out in OKC? Maybe they've been tanking for 15 years, but look at how good that basketball team is right now. Look at how much salary cap they have, and look at how many draft capital they have. They might be a superstar. Yeah. So now the NBA is going like, hey, maybe it does work. You watch. They'll plant somebody in OKC and be like, SGA, not going to be able to afford him this year. Chet over here, Holmgren, he's going to have to go as well. The NBA hates tanking, and OKC is proving the tank absolutely works. If they cut down the Nets this year as champions, everybody should tank every year outside of like 3 or 4 teams.
Okay, various different styles there, I guess. I'll let you live in that world, DRS. The Sixers, though, I cannot argue, are a great team at tanking, even when the expectations were beat great and maybe challenged for an Eastern Conference crown. All right, next up we go around Major League Baseball. From a Wednesday slate in the Bigs, and look forward to this Thursday in MLB as well. Next on the early line.
An impressive debut it was for Mackenzie Gore of the Washington Nationals. He ended up having the most strikeouts of anybody thus far in a Major League Baseball game this season. Buy or sell, George? Mackenzie Gore will be a top 15 fantasy baseball pitcher this season. Top 15. Buy or sell?
You know, these questions are made up by Sam Yarnell, our producer, man behind the glass here. Who's a Washington Nationals fan here? You ever get the feeling that he just made this where you have to say bye, all right? Because top 15? Yeah, I think he'll be top 15. Come on, Sam, make it top 10. Make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe even top 5. Yeah, I think he's got the upside to be that. Once again, he is a good pitcher anyway. Once a top prospect here, you're pitching in a good pitcher's ballpark here. I think the upside is there for him to be much better than top 15. Top 5 may be pushing it, but I think he'll be inside the top 10. So, yes, I am well on board the Mackenzie Gore train.
All right, yeah, I think that I am going to buy this too, man. I don't know. He's just... and again, it's not just that one start for me. I think I have the video somewhere. I was like literally sitting behind home plate for one of his starts in Palm Beach, and I was like, wow, like this guy's stuff looks really, really good. Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. I think he's a potential Cy Young Award candidate. As George said, you're dealing with bigger markets and bigger names with LA and some of the other teams. Arizona's got some great pitchers too. But I think he's definitely in the mix. And look, do I think he's a top 2 guy? No. Do I think he's a top 15 guy? Yes. I'll buy that. As his season, I think, is going to be a special one for him.
Fantasy Sports Today. Weekends starting at 8 a.m. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball headlines from a busy Wednesday around the sport. We start where we began in our opening segment of this opening hour. A wild ending last night on a very cold, perhaps frigid night in Cleveland. The Chicago White Sox down 3-2 in the top of the ninth against the Guardians. Their American League Central foe looked as though they were going to tie the game and send it to extras, except Michael Tauchman dealing with the cold weather. Muscles might have got a little tight. Hamstring pulls on him. He pulls up lame short of the home plate, and he gets tagged out for the final out of the night. Cleveland survives with a 3-2 win over their divisional mates.
Yeah, but like this is a game in April that nobody's ever going to care about. Two, underwhelming baseball teams playing. But let's see if this was down the stretch in the regular season or the playoffs. Like, what happens? Like because I've had hamstring issues in the past and felt like when I've gotten sniper shot on a football field multiple times with a hamstring. Like, what do you have to gut that out to get to the plate? Because it was clear. You saw him pull it like 2 or 3 steps after third base, and he's like, I understand this is early April. If I try to run this out, I probably won't play the rest of the season. I'll just take the limp and the loss. And the guy who got the base hits like, hey, man, that's a dime. That's 2 RBIs in my back. Wait a second. I only got 1 RBI out of that, and we lost the game because you can't round third base and get home. It's a shame, but we've seen a lot of hamstring injuries already right now early in this season. And again, it's cold weather, man. You're trying to open it up, round third base, and there it goes. Man, what a shame. Like, the catcher was like, wait, you're not running here? I was like, yeah, dude, just tag me. Yeah. Let me slam this helmet down and slowly get out of here. Tough scene. Yeah,
DRS, it was a tough one there for Michael Tauchman. It's really funny when the broadcast cuts to like what they think is going to be a play at the plate that could decide the outcome of the game. And the guy's like halfway down the line because of that hurt hamstring. The White Sox now have dropped 7 in a row. They are 2-9. But is Chicago the favorite to have the worst record this year in the Bigs? No. That would be the Colorado Rockies, who lost at home yesterday 17-2 against the Milwaukee Brewers. People wondered how bad could it get this year for the Sox. Win total still 54.5. I believe that's where the number was before this year got underway. So not a walk-off or a game-tying play for Chicago in the ninth, but plenty of late-game drama yesterday, including a couple of walk-off wins. The Giants, Mike Yastrzemski, the veteran, walk-off homer for San Francisco. Seattle, Randy Arozarena draws a walk. And for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Joey Bart, game-winning RBI single to walk it off for the Buccos in PNC Park.
Yeah, some good stuff all the way through yesterday, and that's what you get early in baseball. Most teams, outside of we talk about the Colorado Rockies and the White Sox, probably think they can make it to the playoffs here, grab a wild card spot, and you're seeing a lot of these interesting things, which included the Dodgers. Who would have thought man, thank goodness we got out of town and picked up a victory against the Nationals. That game came right down to the wire as well, where you had a base hit that could have had in the bottom of the ninth inning, and they pull off the victory in that one. But also, the conversation I need to have in baseball, I know it's not, but again, if you make me commissioner and I'm Rob Manfred, I'm having a serious talk about the Colorado Rockies being contracted in Major League Baseball and moving out of town. You can be Colorado. We just can't play in this elevation at this point because understand this. You're in a division if you're a Rockies ownership group, and you can afford it. You're in a big city. Look at the teams you're competing at and look at those big cities that are going to spend a ton of money. And also, one of the few teams in baseball where if you are a starting pitcher, understand this. Yes, you can go to Colorado and get paid, but these guys live on what my statistics will be. Like, can you imagine the best pitcher in baseball? Like, Skeen's going like, boy, I always wanted to be in Colorado. And when his career's over, it's like, you won games, but your ERA was 5. Like, nobody wants to go there and play. And no matter how many humidors you pick up, you 17 runs yesterday for the Brewers, an average lineup against that team. Colorado's going to have serious issues. They've been in contention before in the past. But I think that Avalanche, as we like to say, Colorado Avalanche, going downhill too quick to move right now. It doesn't work. Baseball in Colorado doesn't work at all.
Yeah, a 2-9 record to start this year for the Rocks. The only bad team it would appear right now in the National League West. But it wasn't a great week in D.C. for the L.A. Dodgers, who lost their first 2 games against the Washington Nationals. Got off to a great start yesterday with 4 runs in the top half of the first, only for the Nats to rally, take a lead into the 7th for the Dodgers to respond with 2 runs in the 7th to win 6-5 to avoid a sweep against the Nats.
Yeah, thanks, Michael Conforto, for not picking up any statistic yesterday when in the first inning of that game. I was ready to cash tickets, ready to go, profit boost in hand, and terrible the rest of the way. But that's April baseball, baby. Just what it is.
Yep. Yankees avoid a sweep in Detroit in a matchup between two former high school teammates. Max Fried out-dueling Jack Flaherty. Flaherty pretty good as well. First runs of the game scored in the seventh, courtesy of a 2-run homer from New York's Ben Rice. Hour number 2 with a focus on the Masters comes your way next.